Turn the video on.
Okay.
Hello, friends. Good afternoon. Welcome, Daniel. Welcome, Sitina. Welcome. Thank you, Venerable Avera, for joining this afternoon with the Sutta study. Yes. Yes. Now, welcome, Martha. Just on time. Okay. Before beginning the session, let us pay homage to our teacher. And Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami.
And if you put it in speaker view, then that's what we'll go through on the live stream.
Okay. Thank you.
And then you want to spotlight us.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. There we go.
So, before starting our Sutta study, let us have some moments of silence and take a minute to connect with our intention. When all the devas requested Buddha to, out of compassion, share the Dhamma with the world, he agreed, thinking that yes, when Dhamma shared and reflected upon by the wise, it would lead for their long-term welfare and happiness. Having gained this human birth and all the right conditions, put in an effort to connect with the Sangha, holding the potential for awakening. We, with a heart full of reverence and respect, with faith, may we present our ears and hearts to the Dhamma with all our surrenderance and vulnerability, so that the Dhamma that would be shared brings great benefit, great relief to this heart. May we be able to connect with the Dhamma sharing deeper and in deepest essence, and free ourselves as much as we can. And then take a moment to settle in with our breath and connect our awareness with our body and with this present moment. And with this collected heart and mind, let us come back to the Sutta study. And the Sutta today I prepared for all is Sammā Ditthī Sutta, which is Majjhima Nikaya 9. And let me share screen with you. Yes. Not this. Not sure when this screen has been shared or
You have the sutta.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let me see. Let me share again.
Just confirming everyone can hear us okay?
Can hear and see just fine.
The background noises at the minimum.
That we can't control.
They're edited out for what it's worth. I can't hear anything.
Okay, that's good. The Zoom
Yes.
audio correction does a good job.
So this just like for the introduction, it is the sutta is more related to the sutta that we discussed last time about the question and answers of Venerable Dhammadina with Vishakha, where we discussed about how the suffering originates, what are its causes, how it ceases, and the path that leads to the end of it. And in this sutta, Venerable Sariputta expands the discussion in several directions. And he shows a variety of different ways where we can catch, oh, this is origination of the suffering. This is its cause. This is the way to its cessation. And this is the path that leads to the cessation. So also noting that he connects with how the path, observing such can be connected with skillful qualities so that it meets the right end instead of getting diverted into unskillful ways where we can meet suffering again and stay stuck in the loop of ignorance. So just should I read the entire introduction? I'm just wondering. It all
Maybe you can
feels
pick out the points that seem most important.
yes. Then like this paragraph seems little important for me here, where the image of the root carries further implication because the function of root is to draw nourishment from the soil. The natural question is, where do the roots of skillful and unskillful behavior draw their nourishment? And this is why the next topic in the sutta is nutriment, which is of two sorts, physical and mental. The implicit is the idea of nutriments is the possibility for the strategy to use nutriments skillfully. If the mental state being nourished is unskillful, it can be overcome by depriving it of nutrients. Like if we are stuck in any unskillful qualities, we can just not feed it anymore, and those roots, those qualities, those actions would slowly die out on its own. And likewise, if we feed and foster the skillful qualities by feeding it more, then those qualities grow in our heart, naturally leading us towards unbinding. So yeah, that was a kind of big important part which I felt would be helpful as we are all on the path, still working. And this sutta is also a beautiful collection where Sariputta Bhante, besides the four right views, one right view, which are divided in four parts, he connects it with dependent co-origination. and makes point that any chain in the series of dependent co-arising, if it is broken, then it can lead to some fruits of awakening, which is again a very important, very beautiful turn. Like if we connect in the entire sutta with any one point that feels like, I can catch hold of it, I see its origination, I see its cause, can overcome it, it would be really helpful and beneficial. Yes. So, okay, skipping most of the suttas and keeping it for the homework. Before beginning the sutta, again, I would like to invite everyone to take this more as a discussion, and we would be stopping it at different points. And anybody who has any questions, feedback, comments, and something valuable information to share with others can also feel like joining in. Please feel free. Yes. Yes. So, coming to the backdrop, the sutta begins with, I have heard that on one occasion, the Blessed One was staying near Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's monastery. Then Venerable Sariputta addressed the monks. Friend monks. Yes, friend, the monks responded to him. Venerable Sariputta said, right view, it is said. To what extent is a disciple of the noble ones a person of right view? One whose views is made straight, one who is endowed with verified confidence in Dhamma, and one who has arrived at this true Dhamma. To what extent? It's a good question, Venerable Sariputta asks. Keep asking at different stages. And then other monk says, we would come from a long distant friend to learn the meaning of these words in Venerable Sariputta's presence. It would be good if Venerable Sariputta himself would enlighten us as to their meaning. Having listened to him, the monks will bear it in mind. Then, in that case, friends, listen and pay close attention. I will speak. As you say, friends, the monk responded to him. So, does anybody has anything to add in here? Just checking. Also, there are few who are preferring Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation from the direct Sutta books. Some looking for the reference from Sutta Central. So if anybody else is also joining in from other website or have gone through it, they can also feel free to join in with the discussion about with the words and vocabulary so that we can better understand.
Which edition is this one?
This is Thanisarupante start. Yeah. Dhammatalks.org for now. So coming back to the sutta, the topic touches is skillful and unskillful. Venerable Sariputta said, when a disciple of the noble ones discerns what is unskillful, discerns the root of what is unskillful, discerns what is skillful, and discerns the root of what is skillful, it is to that extent that he is a person of right view, one whose views is made straight, who is endowed with a verified confidence in the Dhamma, and who has arrived at this true Dhamma. So I find this very catching because oftentimes when somebody describes a Sotapanna, they say that they have gained the right view and they have realized, and they cannot be deceived in terms of any wrong view that might arise in the world. So that clarity is often achieved by a Sotapanna, which we can also see, what they knew in this sutta. Also, what is unskillful? Taking life is unskillful. Taking what is not given is unskillful. Sexual misconduct, lying, divisive speech, harsh speech, idle chatter is unskillful. Covetousness, ill will, wrong view are unskillful. These things are called unskillful. And what are the roots of what is unskillful? Greed is the root of what is unskillful. Aversion is the root of what is unskillful. Delusion is the root of what is unskillful. These are called the roots of what is unskillful. So 5 precepts, making 5 precepts unskillful. What are its roots? Greed, aversion, delusion. These are the things which influence us to go in the wrong directions. And connecting it with the introduction, we can see that, how to overcome these unskillful qualities is by not giving in with the unskillful roots. So if we don't attend to the unskillful voices of greed, aversion, or delusion, and slowly the unskillful tendencies itself die and does not overcome in any way.
Yeah, I just so appreciate the phrasing, like one whose view is made straight. That's like, if we're really like looking straight at the things accurately and really seeing them as they are, then we recognize like, I shouldn't do these things. They actually cause me suffering. And it's only because we're sort of like looking at things kind of like weird and sideways and kind of with all this delusion clouding it that we don't just see that.
Sadhu, sadhu. Beautiful point. Just checking in, everybody else can unmute themselves, right?
You're capable of it if you want to.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay, so moving forward, what is skillful? Abstaining from taking life is skillful. Abstaining from taking what is not given, from sexual misconduct, from lying, from divisive speech, from harsh speech, abstaining from idle chatter is skillful. Lack of covetousness, lack of ill will, right view are skillful. These things are called skillful. And what are the roots of what is skillful? Lack of greed is root of what is skillful. Lack of aversion, lack of delusion is the root of what is skillful. These are called the roots of what is skillful. Yeah. So beautifully added. I've also heard like in few countries, there are these precepts, which are 10 precepts which lay people follows. And that is beyond this 5 precepts, usual 5 precepts, they took the 4th precept around the speech in all its 4 forms, making it 7, and then 8. And then also adding not attending to greed, not attending to aversion, and staying by the right view, making it a 10-fold path, which they try to practice so that they can be more and more close to experiencing the fruit and further separation and from the self and alignment with non-self. Yes. So coming ahead, when the disciple of the Noble One discern what is unskillful in this way, discerns the root of what is unskillful in this way, discerns what is skillful in this way, and discerns the root of what is skillful in this way, when, having entirely abandoned passion obsession, having abolished aversion obsession, having uprooted the view and conceit obsession, I am, having abandoned ignorance, and given rise to clear knowing, he has put an end to suffering and stress. Right in the here and now, it is to this extent that a disciple of a noble one is a person of right view, one whose views is made straight, who is endowed with verified confidence in Dhamma, and who has arrived at this true Dhamma. Sadhu, 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 sadhu. Yes.
Yeah, I'm struck with the description of what is skillful is all like in the negative. It's like, just don't do bad things, you know. It's not even saying you have to, you know,
Do something.
I mean, obviously it's helpful to cultivate positive qualities, but it's like, really, you just have to stop doing the bad things and you'll see things more clearly.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So true. Yeah, it sounds
Though
crazy.
things like, you know, especially these days, abstaining from harsh speech and abstaining from idle chatter, you know, when you think of that as not just speech, but like, you know, I don't know, it's like I turn on my computer and I haven't even gone on the internet and this thing pops up from the side that's like, here's 10 news stories you could look at that you're like are completely not relevant to your current activities, but it's like sort of like this idle chattering at you all the time of like, look, here's a thing that can distract you.
Yes.
And it's, you know, like, I don't know, some actor had something or some like airplane 5 years ago. It's just like completely not pertinent,
Yes,
So we are
yes,
surrounded by those things. It's not
yes.
so easy it takes a lot of restraint to ignore them, and they kind of chase after us.
Yes. And this is also can be seen as the most basic part, where how the Sangha has always been encouraging lay people or the beginners to keep focusing on the 5 precepts.
Mhm.
And every time as people come, they ask for precepts from all the monastics. And it's that close that you just need to shift. Let go of those little greed, aversion, delusion voices that would ask you to be away from those precepts. And you can reach, as it is said, suffering and stress right here and now. You can put an end to it. But
Yeah, and the way that like when you do start refraining from those things, you do start genuinely seeing more clearly. So it's not like you have to sort of restrain yourself from force of will forever. It's like you do start to say like, oh, when I am more restrained, my mind does settle down, and when it does settle down, I can actually see the harm that these things cause to myself, not even to others. So you start going in that direction, it gets a little bit like it gets easier and easier, I feel like. Then you end up a monastic. For some of us.
For some of us.
Next thing you know.
Yeah. And also like it's like a taste of something which is good, which is coming from a pure source.
Right.
And then being so dry and deserted in the suffering, that small nourishment of that peace coming from a pure peace is like, oh, I want some more.
Right. Yeah, it's like you look at like, oh, I just have to restrain myself from doing all these bad things, and that doesn't sound that enticing. But when you actually do it, you're right, the experience is this like really positive, nourishing thing. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And then we slowly start growing and growing and growing. And just like how we are discussing about just beginning, and then similarly, the monks here went on to second part, and this is saying, good friend, having delighted in and approved of Venerable Sariputta's word, the monks asked him a further question. Would there be another line of reasoning by which a disciple of the Noble One is a person of right view who has arrived at its true Dhamma? Just like we being content with the 5 precepts, knowing that yes, can be let go of. Okay, delighted. Ah, is there any more? Bante, please tell us some other way. And then Sariputta Bante says, there would. When a disciple of the Noble Ones discern nutriment, the origination of nutriment, the cessation of nutriment, and the way of practice leading to the cessation of nutriment, then he is a person of right view who has arrived at this true Dhamma. And what is nutriment? What is the origination of nutriment? What is the cessation of nutriment? What is the way of practice leading to the cessation of nutriment? Having asked, he shares, there are these 4 nutriments for the maintenance of beings who have come into being or for the support of those in search of a place to be born. Which 4? Number 1, physical food, gross or refined. Number 2, contact as the second, intellectual intention the third, and consciousness the fourth. From the origination of craving comes the origination of nutriments. From the cessation of craving comes the cessation of nutriment. And the ways of practice leading to the cessation of the nutriment is just this very noble eightfold path. Right view, right resolve, right speech, right actions, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. So, big paragraph, big things. let's take some time. Yeah. And it's good to reflect now here. Venerable Sariputta seems to be talking about both the food that we eat to sustain our body and also the food that sustains our mind, that keeps it going. And besides the food, he says contact as the second form of nutriment that we feed on, which is contact through 6 senses, usually. and an intellectual intention, the third, which seems like the driving force which keep us going, yeah, in this direction and then in that. And then consciousness, the fourth. And here he mentions that all these things are just nutriments. They are nourishing us as their natural way, that they are supposed to nourish us in some way, be it physical or be it mental, us for mental well-being. But then from where are they arising from? So Sariputta Bhante shares that its origination of craving comes the origination of nutriments. So again, it's first the craving that arises in the mind that drives us and leads us into feeding in any way possible. Like there can be accidental taste of some food, like especially after being a monastic, growing in different traditional monasteries. There's like, okay, what is this that they make? And then going and tasting it, oh, it's good. And then mind is like, oh, someday, some more. After tasting, then it goes into craving, and the
I have learned of this new thing that I can now crave for.
yes, and it adds on to the list. Oh, the old one's not finished, and now new checklist added. And yeah, that's how it keeps coming in. So the craving is where the nutriments get originated from, and the cessation of that very craving is the cessation of nutriments. That usually the cessation for craving comes after being okay, enough of having that sweet, enough of that having that spicy thing. And okay, it can cease. Comes the cessation and brings back to the noble eightfold path, which keeps us connected with what was the right view again, what was the right resolve. And aligning with the right, so that the cessation can be completed and the end can be met. So
yeah,
helpful.
and I appreciate also thinking about, like it says for physical food, gross or refined, and it doesn't have those same categories for the others, but I feel like it sort of applies across all of them. You can sort of say like, when the mind is seeking contact, when the mind is seeking, intellectual intentions, like what kind of thing am I seeking after? And am I seeking after things that are like very unskillful, that are really, things that are leading to, related to fantasizing about breaking the precepts, those kinds of really unskillful actions? Or am I sort of gradually weaning my mind off of those things to more kind of refined, like you say, when you start to like actually get nourishment from the good things,
True.
right? You can't even if you are like having intellectual intentions that are about studying the Dhamma, like there's still craving there.
True.
And it's still, tying us to the rounds of samsara, but it like at a much more refined level that then is leading on to something towards more freedom.
Yeah, so as the nutriment said, they are still giving us the nourishment, but it's a healthy nourishment which is needed to make an end to the suffering. Right. So excellent point made, Venerable, where we can see even those small cravings might be giving rise to the new nutriments, but then we are developing those to develop, like as we discussed ahead, that we are developing skillful qualities using them.
Right. Well, it's like saying like you have to have desire for the path to follow it. It's not like you can eradicate all desire all at once.
Sitting idly.
That would be convenient, but yeah, it's like you have to sort of like refine your desires towards desiring more skillful things that then lead you onward on the path.
Anybody else has anything to add on? Yes.
Sitina? Sure.
Yes. Yes, Sitina.
So to talk to the microphone, you have to sort of.
Oh, hey. Hello, everybody.
Um,
I guess my question is, so here we're talking about, we mentioned physical food, physical nutriment, but it's also talking about the cessation of nutriment. So We understand we still need to eat food, but is it talking about having the right view where we eat the food but don't create more suffering through eating the food? So it's not like becoming no longer needing or depending on it, but is it depending on it differently? Is the
it's like
understanding?
it's like depending on it without getting entangled into craving. So craving is like the fascination with the food.
Mhm.
It's like the food might be at 11 o'clock, but thinking about it, oh, today we would be having this.
Mhm.
And that fascination is the craving. That suffering is, we can be avoided.
Mhm.
It can be.
I mean, until you're an arahant and don't have a body anymore, then you will still need food at that
Yeah.
level. But there's, like you say, is it like, am I obsessing about food and it's the center of my life and it's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking about all day? Or is it just like I eat
Mhm.
like the meal reflection, it's like, what am I eating to sustain myself in my practice and develop skillful qualities, and kind of as much as possible, no more than that.
Or also like connecting it with the intention that, oh, the food that I would be having today may be useful in developing further mindfulness, further helping growing in the path, or receiving the energy so that now as we are sharing the Dhamma, so being a good contribution to the world. So those are all healthy way, again, healthy side of eating the food. But those unskillful cravings that put us into greed, aversion, delusion, basically, those are to be abandoned here. Those are to be not to be fed. Yep. Any more comments are coming in from anyone? Oh, okay. So, Bhante Sariputta also adds in here ahead that now, when a disciple of the Noble One discerns nutriment, the origination of nutriment, the cessation of nutriment, and the way of practice leading to the cessation of nutriment in this way, when having entirely abandoned passion obsession, having abolished aversion obsession, having uprooted the view and conceit obsession, I am, having abandoned ignorance and giving rise to clear knowing, he has put an end to suffering and stress right in the here and now. It is to this extent, too, that a disciple of the Noble One is a person of right view, who has arrived at this true Dhamma. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yeah, again, beautiful point which connects with Sadhina's point as well, right, Venerable? That how the noble view, right view, when practiced and having entirely abandoning the passion obsession, aversion obsession, and view and conceit obsession that I am something, 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 the stories that we create in the four of these ways can be avoided and can be overcome. And it feels like if somebody overcomes the obsession, not just stream entry, I feel like they can go over, like by continuing the passion and aversion, they can reach Sakdagami, overcoming the conceit and view of I am to this level, they can attain Anagami, and having abandoned ignorance and giving rise to clear knowing with regards to the nutriment, one can put an end to entire mass of suffering and be an Arahanta this way. Yes, sadhu. It's not just
I like his translation there: passion obsession, aversion obsession, view and conceit obsession. Like I said in the beginning, this idea about like what we're trying to do in right view is to really like make our view straight. And I think we've all had that experience of like having a passion obsession for something, right? And there's this way that it makes you kind of, block out other evidence and kind of, ignore things that are distracting you from, the thing that you're obsessing over, and, then can lead you to sort of start making those compromises or like deals with yourself of like, oh, well, I need to break this precept because of this thing that I have to do that's so important because of all these things I'm ignoring. You can sort of like feel how that's this like not straight view, and like leading you into more and more unskillful behavior. And
Yeah.
like sort of like what a relief it is to be to come out of that. But then how there can be this process of being like, oh, that whole thing that I was doing there was really not good and I don't want to see that,
Always
and,
that. Yeah.
and we can kind of not want to look at it for that reason. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I can relate with what Venerable's sharing is in the lay life. Oh, but my friend is going that way, so maybe
Right.
I'm aware, I'm mindful, and then just this much. No.
Or I'm really
Yes.
like engaged in this friendship and it's so wonderful, but then that person is leading me off in this direction, but I'm sort of going with it because
Because
and it's like you can
not
feel
that
it's
much.
not good, but
Yes.
we
We
kind
fall
of,
into the trap.
rationalize to ourselves that we have to do it anyway. Satina, something to add?
Yeah. I also really appreciate the passion obsession translation, because the Vika Booty one, I think it just says greed. Because I think in lay life we use the word passion a lot, especially in American culture. It's a very positive thing.
Mhm.
But having the obsession part, the
Right.
way they're like drilling into it. But I would say that the fact that we're all here doing this and we can be doing anything else shows like our passion for the Dhamma.
Right.
And
It's like we were saying
you
before about
mentioned-
like the skillful desire for the path.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess it's again that differentiation.
Well, I guess there's a question there. Is there a way to sort of like unskillfully obsess over the path? Probably.
Yes.
Right.
I wonder.
Is there some way that you're doing that you're then like blocking out other evidence that you should be trying to see?
Or oftentimes there is the voice that we see, oh, is it coming from greed? No, greed is something so unskillful.
Right.
I'm not greedy. And then this passion obsessions make me feel, oh yeah, it was out of passion. It was something I was obsessing over so deeply. And yeah, that there touches, oh, there is suffering. It was not really sustaining, but it was just covering some pain which was underlying it in it. And the more we start to stay around and remove that passion obsession and see what drive it, see that craving in its face, it can really lead somewhere down to connect with the suffering that we were kind of avoiding for a long time or repressing. And that's the time where we need to stay with it so that we can see, oh, I see you, I hear you, and I'm not suppressing you again. I'm not choking you again. And I'm sorry if I have done that unskillful ways of dealing with you in the past.
Mhm.
But yes, I was causing myself suffering, and that was not helpful. And that underlying issue, when it is overcome, when it has been seen, when it has been healed well in the right view, then it somehow leads to, okay, I don't need to feed on this unskillful thing again anymore. And I'm okay even without going into those obsessions or those habits and tendencies. That's where some unburdening comes in.
Sharanya has raised their hand.
So, this what you said about following a friend, going off the path, you're breaking the precepts, but oh, it's just so comfortable having companionship on this path. So, how, what are all the ways in which we can break that and come back to the path? It's just a dumb question, super simple question, but I still like to hear what your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, we talk a lot about the importance of spiritual friendship, and I think it's like having other friends who have a different perspective, just recognizing what humans are like herd animals, right? We're so conditioned to follow the herd, and it feels very like literally dangerous to not to do something different than the people you're with. right? If like everyone else is doing something and you're saying like, no, I'm going a different way, it literally feels dangerous. And if we were living in, an isolated tribe somewhere, it would be, if you sort of get exiled, then you probably die. So I think our bodies remember that and have that conditioning. And so I think that's, it's why it's so important to have people that you're connected with who are supporting skillful behavior. And, even if you do still have contact with family or friends who may not be going in such good directions, it is possible to, be connected with someone and still be able to stand back and say, no, you're choosing to do this. And even if I care about you, I am choosing something different. But that's so much easier if we have other people who will be supporting us in that, right? And all of us, it's like sometimes we can feel very strong and very able to kind of be clear in ourselves, like I know what's right and I'm doing what's right, even if there are forces encouraging me to do otherwise. And sometimes we're not strong and it's really hard and we don't always make good decisions. And so I think the more backup we have to strengthen us to do the right thing, I think the easier that becomes. And then also, just recognizing how much conditioning we have that's, it can be really invisible to us. And, if we grew up in a family or in a culture that's conditioning us to certain things being normal and skillful and moral, and, some of that is probably correct and some of it is probably incorrect. And some of it, those things that we were conditioned that are normal and good are actually probably harmful. And just, recognizing that we actually literally, my experience is we actually literally blind ourselves so that we actually don't see those things as unskillful. And so it takes effort to start to recognize, like, actually, if I slow down and I really am seeing myself and I'm seeing how I'm reacting, this thing that people around me are doing that they're saying is normal and good and right and the right moral thing to do, like actually I can feel that it's wrong. But you have to like slow yourself down and learn to sort of recognize those subtle cues, because it's not always, there's a lot of really strong conditioning to go along with the people you're around, and there's reasons for that. And that's part of why we come to live in the monastery, because, surrounding yourself with people who really have a very firm intention that, I am going to behave in ways that are not harmful to the extent that is possible while inhabiting a human body. That's really important to have that support and have that connection with people who are really sincerely wanting to live in that way, and recognizing that we are still also working our way along the path and don't always do the right thing either, but very, very sincerely have the intention to. And I think it's also very important to be with people who, I don't know, will like support you and will receive it well when you recognize your mistakes, and it's really beneficial to have people in your life where you can go to them and say, I did something that I now realize is wrong. And, I'm able to recognize that and acknowledge it and have the people sort of receive it graciously is actually really helpful. So that then next time it's a little bit easier for you to maybe recognize before you do it, ideally,
Yes,
or at least not wait too long after you do it. And it's just gradually recognizing it's just a gradual process of conditioning ourselves and strengthening ourselves to recognize what is skillful and to do that more and more of the time.
yeah, true. As Buddha says, the association is the whole of the holy life. Similarly, if any association that goes wrong, it can be lead whole unskillful life, adding many rounds of samsara before we can make an end to it. As it is said that if like the very famous story of how Devadatta influenced the king Ajatasattu to kill his father, and how that wrong friendship led, like even Buddha explained the entire Nikaya too in all its detail. Still, he was not able to touch the fruit of even Sotapanna. And just because of the offense of killing his father, he has to go for aeons and aeons of suffering in the hell before he comes out. And as it is said in the commentary, would attain awakening as a Pachika Buddha. But Yes, that association is very important part here. And if that friend, if your virtue should be the most important thing for you in this case, protecting it is the most important thing. And with that base, if you still like your friend and would wish to go along with the friend who's might be influencing you in unskillful direction, you can gently ask the question, okay, why are we doing this? And laugh, maybe
Yes,
5,
can
10
you influence
minutes.
them to go in a more positive direction?
Yes, yes. Or how about we do something good, something skillful? Like how about let's go to an orphanage and help people there? Or how about we give food offerings to the monastery? Or how about coming to Sutta study together instead of influencing an idle chatter? And
Yeah.
it's a good opportunity to test how wise your friend is in that way, or how wise is he or she in uh finding what is good for them in their life, so that you know, okay, I'm with the people who are also aligned with the intention to grow in their lives. And when they get an opportunity or even in a small hint of growing in a good direction, they are willing to follow it. And in that way, they know that, oh, this person has some different interest and good inclination, and if they appreciate you in that way, then it leads to their growth. And if sometimes you are growing in crazy direction, okay, let's watch a movie, and they might be a good friend for you too. Okay, why not we do something good like you were suggesting before? And then, like, keeping it in a balance, but it should be driven in and inspiring for you to grow in a good direction, so that you, by the time when it comes to die, you die with peace, with no regrets, rather than, oh, that friend eat my 10 years of life or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Does that help, Sharanya? What do you think?
Yes, thank you. I think it's good to ask why what's motivating me to do that again and again,
Yeah. Yeah.
and to also recognize that uh, friendships are all of the path, but also, yeah, it's quite true that I might regret it later. So
Yeah, and we have limited time and energy in which relationships are we investing that energy in? And does it make sense to be kind of focusing on relationships that we know are leading us in a good direction?
True. And also, oftentimes, any skillful, unskillful, any desire that is arising, it's arising mostly to distract us from some suffering that we are not feeling ready to face. And if you can be that vulnerable with your friend, that, oh, I'm going through something this bad and I feel stuck there, and there is this intention to get distracted along with it. But yeah, if they are a good friend, they might help you to, okay, you want to talk about it, or how we can talk Dhamma and connect and stay aligned with Dhamma, so that we feel more nourished and energized, so that we don't carry those energies again or without repressing, as we mentioned, and we can again be unburdened and be more happy and willing to walk the right path. That's how, like, even in the monastery, if I feel overwhelmed with some work or some encounter which I did not dealt with well, and I go with Venerable, there happened this thing, and I was not doing it well, but now I feel vulnerable about it and not really happy about how I dealt in that situation. Do you have any recommendation, any feedback about how it would have been different for the next time? And then it becomes a genuine, constructive conversation, and that friendship is to be cherished. Then Buddha says to save that friend forever. Yeah. Thank you. Hope that helps.
yes, thank you.
Continuing, the monks also rejoiced in what Venerable Sariputta said, and the monks asked him further question: would there be another line of reasoning by which disciple of the Noble One is a person of right view who has arrived at this true Dhamma? There would. When a disciple of the Noble One discerns stress, the origination of stress, the cessation of stress, and the way of practice leading to the cessation of stress, then he is a person of right view who has arrived at this true Dhamma. So again, like taking a point here, that as we were talking about the true friendship, it is again here from this, like a person of right view who has arrived at this true Dhamma. So when somebody attains a fruit, or say Sotapanna, who had got that alignment, that straight alignment with the right view, he knows that no, this would not be a right thing for me to do, because right view is this. No matter how much in unskillful I go, it's still impermanent. It would not be giving me that deep satisfaction and would leading me again to the stress. And what stress? What is stress? As is the question which Sariputta Bhante asked here, which is birth is stressful, aging is stressful, death is stressful, sorrow, lamentation, pain, distress, and despair are stressful. Not getting what one wants is stressful. In short, the 5 clinging aggregates are stressful. This is called stress. What is the origination of stress? The craving that for further becoming, accompanied by passion and delight, relishing now here and now there, i.e., the craving for sensuality, craving for becoming, craving for non-becoming. This is called origination of stress. And what is the cessation of stress? The remainderless fading and cessation, renunciation, relinquishment, release and letting go of that very craving. This is called the cessation of stress. And what is the way of practice leading to the cessation of stress? Just this very noble Eightfold Path: right view, right resolve, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. This is called the way of practice leading to the cessation of stress. Now, when a disciple of Noble One discerns stress, origination of stress, the cessation of stress, and the way of practice leading to the cessation of stress in this way, when, having entirely abandoned passion obsession, having abolished aversion obsession, having uprooted the view and conceit obsession, I am, having abandoned ignorance and giving rise to clear knowing, he has put an end to the suffering and stress right in the here and now. It is to this extent, too, that the noble disciple or disciple of the Noble One is a person of right view who has arrived at the true Dhamma. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yes. So the basic 4 noble truths been mentioned here about how it is painful to go into the suffering, and like very knowing in the right way, as it is said, abandoning ignorance, giving rise to clear knowing about, oh, what is stress? When I say stress, what stress am I talking about? Going further deeper and knowing what is the origination of stress, and then which adds on to, oh, a craving for further becoming, accompanied by passion, delight, a craving for sensuality, craving for becoming, craving for non-becoming. All is origination of stress. And then seeing the cessation of the stress. What is the cessation? Remainderless fading. And cessation, renunciation, relinquishment, release, and letting go of that very craving is called cessation of stress. Like there are different words even for the cessation. For example, some like remainderless fading reminds me of having any emotional baggage or any deep memories which are strongly rooted or maybe misperceived by us in some way, which are still causing us hurt. Then those when we reflect upon, go in detail and try to see what really happened, who said what, where did I reacted, those when come up and when are resolved, they fade. They go on their own time and are completely settled, unknotted. Similarly, cessation, if our anger or if we have strong aversion energies, then on connecting with the right view, understanding the situation rightly, leads to the cessation. Oh, finish. Oh, I don't hold any grudges now. Fresh is new. And same, sometimes we have to renounce that. No matter what, I'll just renounce this. thing, whatever which belongs to I, me, myself, no longer. Then relinquishing again anything which we feel, which is growing craving in us, which is leading to unskillful road, relinquishing it. So understanding what we are doing with regards to the craving that has arisen, being sensitive to how the cessation of this thing that I'm with is to be realized, is also to be realized. And yes, and being sensitive to the Noble Eightfold Path is obviously very helpful to learn the right way of responding in all those situations, so that without craving, without being stuck into any greed, aversion, delusion, how should I respond in the right way, where it's not causing hurt to me, to others, or to anyone, is how we test that, oh, the Noble Eightfold Path has been met more or less. And that's how we realize, oh, we are going away, right way. Yes, Daniel.
I especially like the mention of the five cleaning aggregates, because I think, aging, death, sorrow, lamentation are very obviously kind of in your face sources of suffering that I think most people wouldn't disagree about. But I like the more subtle mention of that as well, that there's this whole kind of much more subtle experience of stress, that it's much deeper than just these sort of very visceral experiences of suffering. And so I really like that they kind of bring that up as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was looking at that list of things that are stressful, and birth, aging, death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, distress, and despair. And just to remind ourselves that when those things come up, to remind ourselves it's actually possible to be free of the stress around those things. And that's quite actually a radical thing to really, in the moment when you're feeling distress about one of those things, to say can I look at this in a way that's understanding that it's possible to be free of this, and I don't need to
Continue.
let this stressful thing sort of give me an out to say oh, then I want to practice, but this thing is too stressful. I can't practice with it, right? And be no, really, literally everything it's possible to practice with it. And even if you can't see it right away, just say is there a way that I could look at this that lets me, move out of the stress around it? And like you say, both for those big obvious things and for these very subtle things, and recognizing it's that whole spectrum.
Yeah. And your sharing, Venerable, and Daniel's sharing again connects with the point that, oh, I can live without these things. So why am I suffering with regards to sorrow, lamentation, pain, distress, and despair? So some clinging. What am I clinging to? And we can go through it. Is it form? Is it feeling? Is it perception? Is it fabrication? Is it consciousness? What is that thing which is bringing me stress? And then why am I clinging to? Where is the craving again? Then working on this subtle part to how to dissolve that craving so that we can be free. So yes, it's very important to have that opening, that broadness in the mind, that yes, we can be free from the suffering. We don't have to suffer the way we have been suffering till now.
Yeah, and to have that sort of opening to pause and say okay, let me look for what is the way, like you say, let me look for what's the thing I can release.
Yes, yes, Serena. You can bring your question nearer.
Well, I'm appreciating the part about the origination of stress. The part that says accompanied by passion and delight, relishing now here and now there. It makes me think kind of yeah, like you're saying, the first time you try something delicious, you're oh, but then so you want more, but then it's it's such a short term, quote unquote, delight, that yeah, then you're trapped in it. Or I think
it's a brief delight that it gets added to the list of things to desire, and then you're then discontent because you don't have them. And
I think even caffeine then it's just you're just happy that you don't get the delight anymore. You just get happy that you just have the caffeine.
Relief from
You're
the
just
pain of not having it.
caffeine. It's
Or
nice.
getting into the pain of not having it.
So I guess that's like the unskillful way of thinking you're in the clear, but you're not in the clear. Or like when someone's annoying you, you manage to like get them to stop talking. You're like, finally, stop talking. But then you realize, wait, somehow you find something else to get annoyed about immediately again, and then they start talking. You're just like, I thought I was in the clear. So
Well, it's like I'm experiencing stress about this thing. Do I like modify my environment to remove the thing that I think is causing the stress? But then that leaves me vulnerable to the next thing coming. Or do I change the way I'm working with it that then makes me not vulnerable to any of it? Yeah. So that even if the person talks to me, I'm still okay.
What is it that is triggering me? Why am I suffering? This person is talking, he's draining his energy. Why am I? And there is a lot of our perceptions are being very much played with, and instead of we deciding what we need, what is good for us, it's the world now telling us, oh, this is good for you, have this, have it this much quantity, oh, you eat more, now you might get cancer. And what? All sorts of crazy things, all binding us with the fear so that we don't even attempt to think otherwise or question things otherwise. And that is very scary. And as soon as we withdraw ourselves from certain things on understanding them, there is just next thing, yes, come here, try me. I am better because. And we are like, okay. And
Right. It's like we're surrounded by things that are like sort of creating anxiety for the purpose of selling us a solution to the anxiety. And so if you don't buy the thing, or even if you do, you're still left with the anxiety.
yes. And that anxiety has been created at the first place so that we buy everything else that is being followed. So anytime whatever has been offered, it's first good to filter things out. Do I need it? No, thanks. Can I just say? Or okay, have that patience and that stability to first let the entire thing go on and see where I can get stuck in I would say Mara advertising the benefits of being in samsara and then being wise enough to, oh no, no thanks. That power and that strength comes by being grounded in our awareness, by being having confidence in something that is reliable, where we can feel that, oh, as for instance, we take refuge in Buddha Dhamma Sangha, and we know that, oh, these beings are awakened ones, and whatever they are sharing is for my benefit, and not just temporary, but for the long-term benefit. So that gives us a safe space to be in so that we can take few moments before just jumping in and holding on to the other things. And that would be a big protection in that way, especially in the today's world where instead of we going out, people are just reaching us out in millions of different ways and trying to get our attention so that we just put our hands and then we are already into suffering. We don't need to do much. So
Yeah, it's really true. I mean, it has so much to do with why the world is in the state it's in, is that don't have nearly as much protected space, I think, as there used to be.
yes,
Right.
yes.
You know, there's just like literally anything you do, you're surrounded by messaging, you know, that is literally trying to create anxiety in you. So of course people are anxious.
Yes.
Even here, you know, we're still using the computer and talking to people, and you know, all of these things are still, even here, still come in and are trying to like,
Yes. Telling you you're not good enough in this. Oh, you were muted. Oh, your camera not working. This not going on. And then constantly learning how to be better and better and better and improving. Yes, there is a lot of learning.
But of course we do want to be progressing and developing ourselves and all of that. So of course, but it's just like, are you doing that in a skillful direction based on the guidance of wise people or not?
Yes. Should be leading in out of suffering.
Yes.
Yes, Daniel, you're raising hand too.
Yeah, I just wanted to sort of second what you were saying, especially about like social media and whatnot, and how um, there's this sense, I think, for a lot of people that you can sort of consume it at your discretion or at your own pace, you know, and it sounds a little bit like, oh, I can just have a couple of cigarettes and then I'll be fine. I won't have any more. And I think it's really one of the things, at least for me, I've learned is like very smart people made this to be super addictive and don't think that you're so great that like you're the exception that will never, you know, get it like, oh, I'll never get addicted to smoking. I can smoke as much as I want. And I would say for me, I deleted social media quite a number of years ago, and every year I feel like that decision is further confirmed as like, oh yeah, you made the right choice. Like this is, and so yeah, I think it's one of the most mentally healthy things we can do for ourselves personally.
Yeah. Yeah, like you say, just to acknowledge that it's not neutral, and it's not like yeah, like you say, like as much as we think we can make wise choices about it, it is very explicitly designed to do something different. And, you know, I'm still on social media some, you know, I don't look at it a lot, you know, but it's, yeah, you can still recognize like the ones that are super addictive, I did delete because you just can't.
Yes. And that is very deep practice that we need. Like it's like I would say some parami that we are able to see, no, this is not serving any purpose. And following that first very voice, okay, if it's not serving, delete. Let's remove it. That takes a lot of strength first there. It's like again, as the Sutta mentioned, not nourishing the unskillful and depriving it from its nutriment. Mm.
Yeah.
We have to do it in a lot of variety of a way, the way we are stuck in samsara, especially like watching TV or advertisement and every different form, even the food that we are consuming is very designed. So how to be more and more mindful so that we can protect ourselves and focusing more on inside. Why am I going out and seeking for anything which feels like is a good alternative and giving me peace? Why
Yeah,
not?
and really like honestly assessing what is the effect on me,
Hmm.
you know, because these things are designed to, you know, draw our attention in certain ways by giving us something that is enticing and sort of like causing us to ignore the negative impact it's having. And if you really sort of actually sit with the effect it's having, you do see the negative side as well.
True.
You know, but also recognizing, I think even some of the monastics who are here with us for Vasa are here because we met on social media. So it's like there is that sort of international connectivity there is a benefit to that, right? So I think you might be one of them.
Yes.
So it's like,
Yes.
how do we take that, you know, that capacity to connect and turn it into actual connection, not just leaving it in the sort of ephemeral internet world that doesn't lead anywhere.
Yeah. Connecting with external things so that it helps us connecting in a better way with ourselves inside and not connecting with the world outside to be disconnected with what is happening inside.
Right, exactly.
Makes sense. Yeah. So moving ahead with the sutta, the other monks who were listening to Sariputta Bhante saying, "Good friend, having delighted in and approved of Venerable Sariputta's words, the monks asked him for a further question. Would there be another line of reasoning by which a disciple of the noble ones is a person of right view who has arrived at this true Dhamma? There would. When a disciple of the noble one discerns aging and death, the origination of aging and death, the cessation of aging and death, and the way of practice leading to the cessation of aging and death, then he is a person of right view who has arrived at this true Dhamma. What is aging and death? What is the origination of aging and death? What is the cessation of aging and death? And what is the way of practice leading to the cessation of aging and death? Whatever aging, decrepitude, brokenness, graying, wrinkling, decline of the life forces, weakening of the faculties of the various beings in this or that group of beings, that is called aging. Whatever deceasing, passing away, breaking up, disappearance, dying, death, completion of time, breakup of the aggregates, casting off of the body, interruption in the life faculty of the various beings in this or that group of beings, that is called death. This aging and this death are called aging and death. From the origination of birth come the origination of aging and death. From the cessation of birth comes cessation of aging and death. And the way of practice leading to the cessation of aging and death is just this very noble Eightfold Path: right view, right resolve, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. Now, when a disciple of the noble ones discern aging and death, the origination of aging and death, the cessation of aging and death, and the way of practice leading to the cessation of aging and death, in this way, when having entirely abandoned passion obsession, having entirely abolished aversion obsession, having uprooted the view of conceit and conceit obsession, I am, having abandoned ignorance and given rise to clear knowing, he has put an end to suffering and stress right in the here and now. It is to this extent too that a disciple of a noble one is a person of right view who has arrived at this true Dhamma. So, like aging and death and connecting to its cause, that birth is the cause that leads to aging and death. Similarly, walking ahead in the sutta, Sariputta Bhante shares that there is another way in which it can be determined that the disciple of the noble one is a person of right view who has arrived at this true Dhamma, which is when a disciple of the noble ones discern birth, the origination of birth, the cessation of the birth, the way of practice leading to the cessation of the birth, then he is a person of right view who has arrived at this true Dhamma. And what is birth? What is origination of birth? What is the cessation of the birth? What is the way of practice leading to the cessation of the birth? Whatever birth, taking birth, descent, coming to be, coming forth, appearance of aggregates, and acquisition of sense sphere of various beings in this or that group of beings, that is called birth. From origination of becoming come origination of birth. From the cessation of becoming comes cessation of the birth. The way of practicing leading to the cessation of the birth is just this very noble Eightfold Path, as you know. And I'm kind of trying to save the point so that just making a connection here about in the sutta about how now we first saw that in the dependent origination, we see, okay, birth, how is it? Bhava pachaya jati, jati pachaya jara maranan soka parideva dukha do manasa upayasa sambhavanti. So sorrow, lamentation, pain, distress, and despair, these is stress we saw. Why is it? Because there is death and aging and death that is acting. Why are we aging and dying? Because there is a birth as a condition which is making us trap into this samsara, this cycle. Then why is there the birth? What is the cause? And here it says becoming. The origination of becoming comes origination of birth. So as soon as we hold on to any becoming, there is a birth, and there is birth, then there is aging and death, then there is aging and death, there is sorrow, lamentation, pain, distress, despair in this world. Then monks again ask, is there any other way of understanding this, Bhante? And Sariputta Bhante again takes them a further step up, where he says that when a disciple of the noble ones discerns becoming, origination of becoming, the cessation of becoming, and the way of practice leading to the becoming, then he is a person of right view who has arrived at this true Dhamma. So again, connecting with what is becoming, what is the origination of becoming, what is the cessation of becoming, practice leading to the cessation of becoming. So here he says, there are three becomings: sensual becoming, form becoming, formless becoming. And noting that from the origination of clinging comes the origination of becoming. So there are three roots for becoming: sensual becoming, form becoming, formless becoming. And any origination of clinging comes the origination of becoming. From the cessation of clinging comes the cessation of becoming. And the way of practice leading to the cessation of becoming is this very noble eightfold path. So now here he takes another step back, that when we are clinging, we fall into becoming. When we fall into becoming, we fall into birth. When we fall into birth, we fall into the circle of aging and death. And when we fall into aging and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, distress, despair follow us. Then, just because of time constraint, quickly summarizing that, again, is there any other way? Monks ask him. So Bhante says, when a disciple of the Noble One discerns clinging, the origination of clinging, the cessation of clinging, and the way of practice leading to the cessation of clinging, then he is a person of right view who has arrived at this true Dhamma. What is clinging? What is origination of clinging? What is the cessation of clinging? And the way of practice leading to the cessation of clinging. So there are these four clingings, the basic four types: sensuality clinging, view clinging, habit and practice clinging, and doctrine of self clinging. This is called clinging. From the origination of craving comes origination of clinging. So first he explains the craving. What is the origination? Craving is the origination of clinging. From cessation of the craving comes the cessation of clinging. And the way of practice leading to the cessation of clinging is just this very noble eightfold path. Okay, taking a break here and moving ahead. And we can surely discuss about these four types of clinging if we still have some time, few minutes more. But just to connect with the sutta and its detail and entirety, so that we can find the chain and connection between how we are rolling on, how we are passing on, so that we can break through it. So, listening to Venerable Sariputta, the monks again ask, is there any other way, Venerable, where we can describe right view and know that this person has arrived to the true Dhamma? Then Sariputta Bhante says, there would be a way. When a disciple of the Noble One discerns craving, the origination of craving, the cessation of craving, and the way of practice leading to the cessation of craving, then he is a person of right view who has arrived to the true Dhamma. And what is craving? So there are the six craving: craving for form, craving for sound, craving for smell, craving for taste, craving for tactile sensation, craving for ideas. This is called craving. From origination of feelings comes origination of craving. From cessation of feeling comes the cessation of craving. And the way of practice leading to the cessation of craving is just this very noble eightfold path, which will come in the end again. But again, connecting how Venerable shared that from feelings there comes craving, from cravings there comes clinging, from clinging there comes becoming, from becoming comes birth, from birth comes aging and death, from aging and death comes sorrow, lamentation, pain, distress, despair. And it's very beautifully again and again connecting in details so that we are also understanding what is it. Because again, every right view comes from directly knowing what is it. What is sorrow, lamentation, pain, distress, despair? What is aging and death? What is birth? What is becoming? What is clinging? What is craving? And as we are further moving ahead, again, Venerable Sariputta explains in another way, where he explains what is feeling, where he shares that there are these six feelings: feeling born of eye contact, feeling born of ear contact, feeling born from nose contact, feeling born from tongue contact, feeling born from body contact, feeling born from intellect contact. These are called feelings. From the origination of contact comes the origination of feelings. From cessation of contact comes cessation of feelings. And the way of practice leading to the cessation of feeling is just this very noble Eightfold Path, which I will come to.
Just keep doing those 8 things.
Yes, just keep doing those 8 things. And understanding again that these are the feelings which lead to craving. These are the things. From craving leads to the clinging. Clinging leads to becoming. How becoming leads to birth. How birth leads to aging and death. And how aging, death leads to sorrow, lamentation, pain, distress, despair in the world. Again, venerable monks ask Venerable Sariputta that would there be another way, another line of reasoning by which disciple of the Noble One is a person of right view who has arrived at this true Dhamma? And he says there would. When a disciple of the Noble One discerns contact, so understanding again, what is contact? So the 6 classes of contacts are eye contact, ear contact, nose contact, tongue contact, body contact, intellect contact. This is called contact. From origination of 6 sense media comes origination of contact. From the cessation of 6 sense media comes the cessation of contact. And the way of practice leading to the cessation of contact is just this very noble Eightfold Path. And now here again, somebody might have this question that, oh, so do we abandon the eye contact, or do we abandon the ear contact? How we deal with it, so that how the cessation is to be made. So again, it is to be understood that 6 sense media is just a way of receiving, perceiving things. How contact leads to certain kinds of feelings arising from eyes, nose, any contact. And then it's just the craving that again binds us with, oh, no, I want it, I need it, some I comes into action, which clings. And that clinging leads to further becoming. Becoming leads to birth. Birth leads to aging and death. Aging and death leads to sorrow, despair, all kinds of suffering and stress. And how to break through it is again letting go the cessation of 6 sense media, which is like not getting so much fascinated or clinging onto it, basically, like seeing and understanding the nature of how they are subject to origination, how they are subject to stay, and how with no fuel, no sustenance, they pass away. And allowing it to pass away without further like staying entangled with it. Oh, some more. That thirst is again taking us down the line to the suffering. And quickly coming to 6 sense media. Should I end this sutta like this? Or should we stop and discuss? Because then
We're almost out of time, so maybe we can.
Yeah, it's just like I can mention the main context where
So close to the end of the chain.
Yes. that Sariputta Bhante then takes it up and shares that 6 sense media are coming from name and form. And what is name and form? So basically the 5 things: feelings, perception, intention, contact, and attention. Like instead of rushing it like this, I would just say that any person who has arisen to the right view, be it with regards to any of these small chains, I would say, they have come out or they have reached the realization by knowing in its full essence. Like what is it, as we are again and again seeing that Buddha just not blankly or very generalized way gave some lecture around suffering and you can come out of it. But he was very precise and everything is very much properly shared in all its details so that we can understand and we can see for ourselves as the Dhamma definition goes as well. And this is like a timeless Dhamma, which was true back then, which is true now, which would be true again in the times to come. So maybe continue to grow and try to see deeper and deeper into what is it. Oh, and just to again give reference, it's Majjhima Nikaya 9, Sammā Ditthī Sutta. I would really encourage everyone to take their own time and connect with knowing that how dependent co-arising shared by Sariputta Bhante in its entire detail about what is it, what is its origination, what is its succession, and what is the path leading to its succession. Very beautifully and very much out of compassion, very properly shared. And yeah, maybe put some more time to reflect upon it. And then be wise enough to fabricate things well so that we are not out of ignorance, like the first chain that leads us into the suffering. Maybe not fabricate out of ignorance, but out of some knowledge and knowing that what we are doing is very much in my control. I've seen things and I wish to see more deeper. So may I be aligned with what I want to see, so that when we are aligned with the truth can be seen that way. So, may we all come out of our ignorances, may we be able to overcome our affluence and be free. And just like how the other monks were gratified and delighted in Venerable Sariputta's speech, may on discussing the sutta, which was long shared by Venerable Sariputta, may we also delight and with gratitude and reverence rejoice in Venerable Sariputta's speech. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yes. Daniel, you raised hand. Would you like to add?
You said it best, Aya. I think you put a good ending to it.
Thank you. And yeah, would anybody like to add in? Venerable?
Any final comments? No, just appreciating the need to like really look really clearly and see the specifics and not, there's so many forces encouraging us to sort of like glaze over things and not look too closely, and like no, like we really have to look closely, and the outcome of that is more freedom, right? There's so much that's saying like no, you shouldn't look at that because it's just going to be painful. It's like no, like actually if you look at it in the right way, it does lead to less suffering.
And the more we see, the more we realize that, oh, I was holding on. I was the one who was holding on. I chose suffering for myself. It was just maybe out of ignorance, but I am doing something that is bringing me suffering. And how can I stop? Like most of the things remind me of the time we used to spend in shopping malls. That as soon as me and my mom would arrive, there would be 2-3 people coming up. Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon. This is your shopping bag. How can I assist you? This is new arrivals. This is the new. And we would just go and buy and pick and pick and pick and pick. And at the end, oh, fine. We all need it. And then now realizing, no, we can take a step back and choose, yeah, do I need it? Oh, is it in my budget? Is it really helpful?
Maybe I don't go to the mall to begin with.
Yeah. But no, just like in daily lives, we can question, do I need it? Do I like our mind is trying to sell us those things besides the people outside. And how we negotiate with our mind, how we communicate in a way that we are not being harsh on ourselves, but we are coming into the light, we are coming into the wisdom. It's again a scale which we can put an attention to and staying with it and develop. Yeah. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yeah.
You also have to share.
Yes. If there are no more comments, no more feedbacks, then we can also conclude our Sutta study for this afternoon. Oh, you are muted. Okay, it's different. Okay. Okay. You're teaching sadhu, 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 do. It's okay. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aya.
Thank you, Venerables. Thank you, everyone.
And welcome, Doug. Glad for you to join us, even if you were late.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sharanya.